The Three Gorges Reservoir is one of the most ambitious and complicated hydroelectric projects ever undertaken anywhere in the world. The ongoing construction has been accompanied by constant questions over its impact on the environment. Nowhere has the environmental challenge been greater than in Chongqing, on the upper reaches of the Yangtze. A huge city with a population of over 30 million people, Chongqing has adopted a series of radical measures to ensure that its citizens enjoy a bright ecological future.
The Yangtze is the third longest river in the world, after the Nile in Africa and the Amazon in South America. The municipality of Chongqing lies on the upper reaches of the 6,300-kilometer-long river. Its location makes Chongqing a gateway between eastern China with its robust economy and western China with its abundance of natural resources. The Yangtze flows for almost 700 kilometers through Chongqing, crossing 15 of its districts and counties. Three other rivers, the Jialing, the Wujiang, and the Danning, converge on the Yangtze in Chongqing. In an area of 50 square kilometers in Chongqing, there are 364 rivers. They are a major factor in the city's abundant natural resources and beautiful scenery. Chongqing has an active policy of water conservancy and environmental protection, which has a direct bearing on the sustainable development of the nearby Three Gorges Reservoir area and the ecological environment along the whole course of the Yangtze. When the Three Gorges Dam began to fill with water, the effect on the upper reaches of the Yangtze was to slow the velocity of its flow and reduce its capacity to purify itself. This posed a major challenge for local environmental protection at a time when Chongqing was embarking on a fast track of economic development and urbanization. Water is essential for human survival. The Chongqing municipal government, in order to ensure that the local people had clean water to drink, strengthened its efforts to protect the sources of drinking water. Changshou Lake is the biggest man-made lake in southwest China. It is one of the most important sources of drinking water in Chongqing. The lake was formed as a result of the completion of the Lion Beach Dam in 1956. The lake, with its more than 200 islets, is a major tourist attraction. But there was a time when the waters of Changshou Lake were heavily polluted. About a decade ago, a state farm was set up on Changshou Lake. Several hundred farmers contracted with the local government to engage in a net box breeding project. Tons of bait, dung, and fertilizer were poured into the lake, but this led to the excessive growth of algae. The pollution produced a bad odor, which killed many fish. Meanwhile, it also harmed the safety of the drinking water for 300,000 residents in Changshou district. In early 2004, the Changshou district government launched a 30 million yuan project to remove the fishing nets and establish a new pattern of sustainable development in the local aquatic breeding industry. The aim was to provide the local people with safe water and good quality fish. However, after the safety of the drinking water was guaranteed, another problem needed to be tackled. The sewage generated by the 31 million Chongqing residents put tremendous pressure on the aquatic environment in the Three Gorges Reservoir area. 10 years ago, people living beside the river would dump their sewage directly into the Yangtze. Today, by contrast, pipes laid along the banks of the Yangtze and Jialing rivers in the city area carry the sewage to the local water treatment plants. The Tangjiatua water treatment plant, located in the Jiangbei district, is responsible for treating the sewage generated by 800,000 people. The plant, with a capacity to treat 300,000 cubic meters per day, can produce quality water that meets the national standard. Chongqing today has a total of 33 sewage treatment plants, which have raised the treatment rate to 70% from virtually zero a decade ago. Chongqing Wanlilai Chemicals is a producer of synthetic ammonia. The company used to be a major polluter. Included in a plan approved by the State Council for the prevention and control of pollution at the Three Gorges Reservoir and the upper reaches of the Yangtze, it was offered a 5.1 million yuan grant to control its pollution emissions. The company used the money to improve its clean production techniques and treat the pollutants generated during the production process. Eventually, it was able to meet the national standard for sewage emission. Wanlilai Chemicals owns a local permit for pollutant discharge, which is a prerequisite for all potentially polluting enterprises to operate in Chongqing. The company has also compiled a handbook on environmental management as a means of encouraging all its employees to become actively involved in environmental protection work. Chongqing Xinhua Chemical Plant is located in the same neighborhood as the Wanlilai Company. It is one of China's oldest producers of titanium dioxide coatings. After the State Council approved the plan for the prevention and control of pollution at the Three Gorges Reservoir and the upper reaches of the Yangtze in 2003, the Xinhua plant was resettled. The plant allocated 14% of its resettlement budget to developing clean production technologies so as to reduce pollutant emissions and energy consumption. Meanwhile, a new use was found for some of the byproducts of the manufacturing process. A sticky residue was used in making bricks, and the acid wastewater was recycled to produce sulfuric acid. Thanks to the adoption of such measures, the water quality in the Three Gorges Reservoir area has been maintained. Steady progress has been made on the annual basis from 1996 to 2006 in improving the water quality of the Yangtze, Jialing, and Wujiang rivers. In 2006, a survey of 22 monitor sections of the three rivers showed that in terms of quality, the water reached grades 1, 2, and 3 in 22.7%, 68.2%, and 9.1% of cases respectively. This represented an 11.8-point increase in the percentage of the water that achieved at least grade 3 standard in the monitor sections of the three rivers. The central government has assigned Chongqing Municipality 4 key tasks, one of which is to enhance ecological environmental protection. Since this task is closely associated with the sustainable development of the Three Gorges Reservoir area and the safety of the Yangtze's ecological environment, the city authorities are committed to its accomplishment.